What's up, everybody? Wanted to cover something that came up over the weekend that went a little bit viral on X about getting gas if you run out of gas on chain. What do you do? Let's say you're on Ethereum L1 or you're on an L2 like Arbitrum 1 and you don't have any ETH to pay for gas. But maybe you have some other token that you could use for gas, something of value that's more than zero. And how can you use that to pay gas on chain? So real quick, let's kind of switch over to X and kind of show you the thread. I don't want to read this to you. This is a real interesting thread by Web3 Christelle from X, who goes by Christelle. And the thread goes, I am currently trying to move USDT on ARB to USDT on ETH mainnet. I don't have ETH for gas. In other words, she doesn't have ETH on Arbitrum 1 for gas. She's on L2. She has some USDT there, but she has no ETH there. She can't swap. I can't swap my USDT for ETH, my USDT on ARB for ETH on ARB because I don't have ETH to pay for my gas's gas. And she, in all caps, goes, do you think you're onboarding anyone like this? This is a stupid system, broken system. Annette, Annette Dadif replies, don't complain about the system when you're missing basic understanding and how transactions, especially cross-chain transactions, works. Every transaction on each chain needs gas, ETH, on each chain that you're making the transaction on. Gas is securing each transaction. This is true. So Annette is making a perfectly reasonable, point here that you know, you should understand you're on chain. You should understand this is how it works. If you're trying to move money between bank accounts, you've got to realize if you're trying to move money between chains, you got to realize sort of how the system works and you got to read a little bit about it to understand. But I also get Christelle's point that, this stuff isn't necessarily easy to grasp. Like right here below to Annette, she responded, complain about the system when it's broken, it will force us to find solutions. Number two, I do understand how transactions work. This is not at all what I'm saying. She's saying it does not have to be this way. And I agree with Crystal. Like, it's this, none of this is like, like, let's say somebody sends you 100, USDT or USDC, like $100 worth of stable coins on a chain, and you've just never even used crypto before, and you come across this situation like, how weird is it that you need this other token to spend for gas? And you may not have even heard of this concept of gas before. Like for new users to this chain, like she mentions in the original post, onboarding. Are you onboarding anyone like this? For crypto natives, we all get this. But like, are we onboarding people the right way? Um, I think I agree with Crystal that the user experience here kind of sucks and that it could be a lot better. Um, but just to sort of like, kind of demonstrate like how you can deal with this if you do find yourself in this situation. I wanted to demonstrate like three quick solutions for like, how you could do it. A bunch of people in this thread responded with a bunch of them, and I just sort of went through them all and I found like the three easiest ones to use, and I'm going to demonstrate those three solutions right here for you right now. But just like, what do you do if you've got stable coins but you don't have ETH and you don't have another account to transfer to and you don't want to onboard new ETH through a centralized exchange or sign up with a credit card or anything like that. You just want to use the money that's in your wallet to spend gas. What do you do? Well, one solution is to go to small refuel. So this is smolrefuel.com. And real quick, I've got over here on my MetaMask, I've got 75 USDC in a wallet on ARB1, and I have no ETH. Okay, there's no ETH in this wallet currently. Zero ETH, zero ETH. All right, so let's go ahead and connect on Small Refuel to my MetaMask. and then I'm going to click on ARB1, and then I'm going to select, it's going to scan my wallet for which tokens I have. Should pull up USDC in 1 second. Once it finishes scanning, it comes up with that. Perfect. Now let's say I want to just swap $5 worth of USDC for some ETH. Okay, five can get you a long ways on R1 because fees are really cheap. I could probably do as little as $1 if I wanted to. But let's go ahead and convert $5 in USDC to ETH. It's gonna come up just like this. And what notice how it says the gas fee and bot fee is 17 cents. So I'm going to end up with about $4.83 worth of ETH after this is all said and done because they're taking a cut, a small transaction fee by fronting me the ETH for the transaction. Okay. So it's creating a spending cap request. It's asking that to spend $5 worth of my USDC. This is coming from smallrefuel.com, interacting with the USDC token. I'm going to hit confirm and it's going to sign that transaction. And then shortly, it submits the transaction, and um, looks like that come up on Arbitrum Block Scout. Give me the transaction hash. That should have gone through. Don't know if the ETH has come in yet. Let's see. Yep, ETH is already there. So yeah, within seconds, before I could even check on the transaction, it got me ETH in my wallet. Now I can conduct any transaction that I want to that takes gas. And I was able to do that pretty easily and very quickly in seconds. Cost me 17 cents for the transaction fee to make that swap on small refuel. Okay, so DeFi Llama or has another great solution for this called Llama Swap. And Llama Swap allows for gasless swaps in a similar fashion. So I'm over here on Llama Swap, swap.defillama.com. Llama has two L's. And I'm here on Llama Swap's interface. And let's go ahead and connect my wallet. Click my MetaMask. Make sure it's connected. Wants to connect. All right. Now, I've got Arbitrum selected as the chain here, and I want to swap 5 USDC for ETH. And it's going to give me about 0.0031 ETH for this transaction. So if I click this, actually, let's just make sure everything's, oh, I don't want to do that. Let's click this and then select the aggregator. So I guess we click this here. Oh, right here. I'm going to click the gasless option right here, actually. I'm going to click this gasless option, and then I'm going to hit approve. It's going to come up with a spending cap request. Hit continue, and then click swap via gasless. And this is going to be just a signature. So this swap is going to cost 0 gas here. And I click confirm, and I'm swapping just 5 USDC for 0.003 ETH. And it should show up pretty shortly. It probably already succeeded. But click over here to my balance. I've got now 0.006 ETH in my wallet. And the USDC balance is a little behind. It should show 65. Um, yeah, which the website shows, but the MetaMask UI hasn't updated yet. Okay, third option that we're going to cover is Matcha. So if you go to matcha.xyz and you pull up their trade menu, should be able to connect your wallet. We've got our wallet already connected here. And then when we click select token, we're able to see the USDC in our wallet. We've now down to 65. And we're going to swap another 5 for USDC here, or for ETH here. And notice down here how we've got best route is using Matcha Auto, where it's just taking care of the network fee and everything. So we click review order. We're going to approve spending. We're going to approve spending. We're going to hit confirm. Once it's been approved, then we're going to hit place order right here. And we're going to execute that swap. And we're going to hit confirm. That transaction is now complete. Swap via Uniswap. Excellent. So now we have in the wallet, we have $60 worth of USDC in there still, and we have about $15 worth of ETH in there minus transaction fees, about 15 cents worth of transaction fees that we spent in total to make 3 gasless swaps on chain. So, going back to Crystal's original point, that's one way to deal with this situation. If you find yourself in this situation with no US with no ETH, but you have stable coins or you have certain tokens that have enough liquidity are able to do this quite easily with all these services. They do support more than just USDC and USDT. You'll have to check each one to be sure. That's, Small Refuel, DeFi Llama, and Matcha.xyz. These are 3 great options for you to check out if you find yourself in that situation. Um, Personally, I've never quite find myself in this situation, so I found this thread quite interesting. It got like 600,000 views and went slightly viral. I totally agree with Crystal here. The user experience and developer experience still sucks, frankly, on Web3 and on crypto in general. We've really got to work to do better. I do think a lot of the burden of this happens to be on wallets and wallet interfaces themselves. I do know MetaMask has an option to do gasless swaps that just came out like a month and a half ago, but I didn't want to cover something that was MetaMask specific here. I wanted to cover some services that you could use regardless of which wallet you have. Um, but I will say that it is on wallet providers in general to just make the user experience better. Wallet providers are the interface. They are sort of like the browser or the account for accessing Web3, and we can absolutely do better with this and make it more obvious. And users really shouldn't have to think about gas. Gas should just be something that it's a transaction fee, and if I just want to leave my money in USDC or USDT, that should be okay, and everything should just be abstracted for me. That's my personal opinion, but I think we got a lot of work to do to make this stuff easier for people. And this was a great thread, and hopefully this is interesting and useful for y'all. Please stay tuned. We're going to do more content like this, user content, dev content. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Crisco, and I'll see you soon.